The monitors are still beeping, the security footage is still rolling, and somewhere in that sterile hallway of St. Joseph's Medical Center, a man who calls himself unstoppable is lying unconscious with blood pooling beneath his head. This isn't a wrestling ring. This isn't Monday Night Raw. This is real. This is brutal. And what you're about to witness will change everything you thought you knew about Bron Breakker and the monster hunting him in the shadows. What's going on, SLAMZONE family? If you're new here, you just walked into the most intense breakdown channel in wrestling, and trust me when I say this, you picked the perfect time to join us. Because what happened last night wasn't just an attack. It was a statement. It was a message written in violence and delivered with surgical precision. And before we dive into every bone-chilling detail, I need you to do me one favor. I need you to hit that subscribe button right now. Not because I'm begging, but because you deserve to be part of a community that doesn't just watch wrestling, we feel it. We live it. We break it down frame by frame until the truth reveals itself. So subscribe, smash that notification bell, and let's ride this wave together, because what's coming is going to shake you to your core. Now let me take you back. 48 hours ago, Bron Breakker walked out of the arena with 12 stitches above his right eye, a separated shoulder, and enough painkillers in his system to knock out a bull. The match with Ilja Dragunov had taken everything from him. You could see it in his eyes, the exhaustion, the pride, the refusal to show weakness even when his body was screaming for mercy. He'd retained his title, sure, but at what cost? The doctors told him to stay overnight for observation. Standard protocol. Nothing unusual. Just a precaution to make sure there was no concussion, no internal damage that might show up later. Bron being Bron, he fought them on it. He wanted to go home. He wanted to lick his wounds in private, away from the cameras and the questions and the endless speculation about whether he was still the dog everyone believed him to be. But the medical staff insisted. And for once, the second-generation powerhouse listened. He took the room on the 3rd floor. He let them hook him up to the monitors. He closed his eyes and tried to rest, tried to let his body recover from a war that had pushed him to the absolute limit. The hallway was quiet. The nurses made their rounds. Everything seemed normal. Everything seemed safe. And that's when the lights went out. Not just in his room. The entire 3rd floor went dark. Emergency lighting kicked in, casting everything in that sickly red glow that makes your skin crawl. You know that feeling when something is wrong but you can't quite put your finger on it? That's what the nurses felt. That's what the security guard at the end of the hall felt when his radio went to static and stayed there. Something was coming. Something that didn't belong in a place of healing. Something that had waited for the perfect moment to strike. The security footage, and yes, we got our hands on it, shows a figure moving through the shadows with purpose. Not running. Not hesitating. Just walking with the confidence of someone who knows exactly what they came to do. The build is unmistakable. Over 250 pounds of muscle and malice, moving like a predator that's caught the scent of wounded prey. The face is obscured by a hood, but you can see the hands. Those hands are taped from knuckle to wrist like someone preparing for war. And in the right hand, there's something metallic. Something that catches the emergency lighting and gleams with promise of pain. Bron's room is at the end of the hall. Room 317. The door is closed but not locked, because why would it be? This is a hospital. This is supposed to be safe. The figure reaches the door and pauses. Just for a moment. Like a predator savoring the moment before the kill. And then the door opens. Slowly. Deliberately. And the camera inside the room captures what happens next. Bron is awake. His instincts are too sharp even in a hospital bed, even drugged and exhausted. He sees the figure and his body tenses. You can see him trying to sit up, trying to rip the floor from his arm, trying to prepare for whatever is coming. But he's not fast enough. He's not ready enough. And the mystery man moves with shocking speed for someone his size. 3 steps across the room and he's on Bron like a storm, and what happens next is 18 seconds of pure brutality that will be replayed and analyzed and debated for months. The first strike is a forearm that catches Bron across the temple, and you can hear the impact even through the security footage. The monitors spike. Bron's head snaps to the side. And before he can recover, before he can even process what's happening, the mystery man grabs him by the throat with one hand and lifts him hospital gown and all out of the bed like he weighs nothing. Like he's a child being punished. Like he's prey being prepared for slaughter. Bron's feet are kicking. His hands are clawing at the grip around his throat. But it doesn't matter. The mystery man is in complete control. And then comes the slam. Not onto the bed. Not onto the floor. Onto the medical cart next to the bed, the one loaded with instruments and equipment and glass bottles that explode on impact. The sound is catastrophic. Metal and glass and plastic all crashing together in a symphony of destruction. Bron's body goes limp for a second, stunned by the impact, and that's when the mystery man drags him off the cart and drives him face first into the wall. Once. Twice. 3 times. Each impact leaving a dent in the drywall, leaving blood smeared across the pale blue paint, leaving no doubt that this isn't a wrestling match, this is an execution. The nurses hear the commotion. They're running down the hall now. You can hear them screaming for security, screaming for help, screaming for someone to do something. But the mystery man isn't done. He pulls Bron up one more time, positioning him in the center of the room, and delivers a move that everyone watching the footage will recognize immediately. A power slam. Textbook perfect. But instead of a canvas, Bron's back meets the tile floor of a hospital room, and the impact echoes like a gunshot. His body convulsing. His eyes rolling back. The monitors flatline for 2 full seconds before his heart kicks back in. And then, as quickly as it started, it's over. The mystery man stands over Bron's broken body, looks directly into the security camera, and pulls back his hood. The gasp you hear from everyone who watched this footage live was universal. Because it's not who anyone expected. It's not who anyone predicted. And the smile on his face, cold, calculated, satisfied, tells you everything you need to know. This was personal. This was planned. And this was just the beginning. Now, before we get into who this mystery man is and why he targeted Bron in the most vulnerable place possible, I need to pause for just a second. Because if you're feeling what I'm feeling right now, if your heart is racing and your mind is spinning with questions, then you need to do something for me. Hit that like button. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know. Drop a comment telling me what you think is happening here. Because SLAMZONE isn't just my channel, it's our channel. It's our community. And we figure this stuff out together. So subscribe if you haven't already, turn on those notifications, and let's get back to the most insane hospital attack in wrestling history. The aftermath is chaos. Security finally arrives, but the mystery man is gone, vanished into the stairwell before anyone can stop him. The nurses are rushing to Bron's side, checking vitals, calling for emergency assistance, trying to stabilize someone who just got assaulted in a place that's supposed to protect him. Bron is conscious but barely. His face is a mask of blood. His right eye is swelling shut. There's a gash on his forehead that's going to need another 12 stitches minimum. His ribs, already bruised from the Dragunov match, might actually be broken now. And the worst part? The psychological damage. The knowledge that even in a hospital bed, even surrounded by medical staff, he wasn't safe. The wrestling world explodes within minutes. Social media is on fire. Everyone from legends to rookies is weighing in. Some are demanding answers. Some are demanding justice. Some are questioning whether this crossed a line that should never be crossed. Because attacking someone in a hospital isn't wrestling. It's not even sports entertainment. It's assault. It's criminal. And yet there's a part of the audience, maybe a dark part but a real part, that can't help but be captivated by the sheer audacity of it. By the statement it makes. By the message it sends to Bron and everyone who thought he was untouchable. Triple H releases a statement within the hour. He condemns the attack. He promises a full investigation. He guarantees that whoever is responsible will face consequences, both legal and professional. But you can read between the lines. You can hear the intrigue in his voice during the press conference. Because as much as this is a PR nightmare, it's also the kind of organic, shocking, must-see moment that wrestling thrives on. The kind of moment that makes people tune in not because they're scheduled to, but because they desperately need to know what happens next. And Bron? When he finally regains enough consciousness to speak, when the doctors clear him to give a statement to WWE officials, he says 3 words that send chills down everyone's spine. I know him. Not, I don't know who did this. Not, I want answers. Just, I know him. Which means this isn't random. This isn't some crazed fan who jumped the security perimeter. This is someone from Bron's past. Someone with a grudge. Someone who waited for the perfect moment of weakness to strike. And that revelation opens up a Pandora's box of possibilities that has the entire wrestling community theorizing and debating and losing their minds trying to figure out the connection. Let's talk about Bron Breakker for a second. Second-generation superstar. Son of Rick Steiner. Nephew of Scott Steiner. Genetics blessed him with power and intensity that most wrestlers spend their entire careers trying to develop. He came into NXT like a freight train and never slowed down. 2-time NXT champion. Dominant. Aggressive. The kind of wrestler who makes opponents rethink their career choices when they see him across the ring. He talks like his uncle but fights with a controlled fury that's all his own. The spear that ends matches. The gorilla press that reminds you he's superhuman. The intensity in his eyes that tells you he's not playing games. But here's the thing about Bron that people forget. He's still young in this business. Still learning. Still making enemies along the way as he climbs to the top. And when you're that dominant, when you're that aggressive, when you cut through the competition like it's nothing, you leave bodies in your wake. Wrestlers with broken dreams. Wrestlers with shattered pride. Wrestlers who remember every word you said and every move you used to humiliate them. And maybe, just maybe, one of those wrestlers decided that beating Bron in a ring wasn't enough. Maybe one of them decided that true revenge requires taking everything from him: his health, his safety, his sense of invulnerability. The mystery man's identity has been confirmed now, though WWE hasn't officially acknowledged it yet. The wrestling insiders are all reporting the same name. The footage analysis confirms it. And when you connect the dots, when you look at the history between these two, it all makes a sick kind of sense. This wasn't a random attack. This was retribution. This was someone collecting on a debt that Bron probably forgot he even owed. And the brutality of it, the cold calculation, the willingness to cross every line, it tells you that this mystery man isn't interested in a fair fight. He's interested in destruction. Think about the psychology of attacking someone in a hospital. It's not about proving you're tougher. It's not about winning a match. It's about sending a message that nowhere is safe. That you can be the strongest, the most dominant, the most feared competitor in the company, and it doesn't matter. That when you least expect it, when you're at your most vulnerable, that's when I strike. That's when I remind you that all your power means nothing if you can't see me coming. It's psychological warfare at its most twisted. It's the kind of mind game that can break someone even if their body heals. And here's where it gets even more interesting. WWE has to decide how to handle this. Do they book this as a storyline? Do they embrace the controversy and turn it into the hottest feud of the year? Or do they treat it as a legitimate crime and involve law enforcement? Because make no mistake, if this happened in the real world outside of wrestling, the mystery man would be in custody right now facing assault charges. But this is wrestling. This is a business built on blurring the lines between reality and performance. And sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones where you can't quite tell where one ends and the other begins. The fans are divided. Some are outraged that WWE would even consider turning this into entertainment. Some are absolutely hooked and desperate for the next chapter. Some are worried about Bron's health and future. Some are excited about seeing him come back for revenge with a fury we've never seen before. And that division, that passion, that emotional investment, that's what makes wrestling special. That's what makes moments like this transcend the normal boundaries of sports entertainment and become cultural touchstones that people remember for years. So what happens next? When does Bron recover? How does he respond? Does the mystery man strike again, or does he wait in the shadows, satisfied with the damage he's caused? Does this escalate into something even more intense, or does WWE step in and try to control the narrative before it spirals completely out of hand? These are the questions keeping everyone awake at night. These are the debates happening in every wrestling forum and group chat and Reddit thread across the internet. SLAMZONE family, we're living through wrestling history right now. This moment, this attack, this shocking violation of the unwritten rules, this is the kind of thing that will be referenced in documentaries and retrospectives for decades. This is the kind of moment that creates legends and ends careers and changes the entire landscape of the industry. And you were here for it. You watched it unfold with us. You felt the shock and the outrage and the morbid fascination of witnessing something truly unprecedented. Before we wrap this up, I need you to do one more thing for me. If this video gave you insight, if it helped you process what you witnessed, if it made you feel connected to a community that shares your passion for this wild, unpredictable, beautiful mess we call professional wrestling, then hit that subscribe button. Join the SLAMZONE family officially. Turn on notifications so you never miss a breakdown. Like this video. Share it with everyone who needs to understand what just happened. And drop a comment telling me your theory. Who do you think the mystery man is? Why did he target Bron? Where does this go from here? I read every single comment, and your insights make this channel what it is. What happened in that hospital room was shocking, brutal, and unforgettable. Bron Breakker, the unstoppable force, learned that everyone has vulnerabilities. The mystery man proved that sometimes the most devastating attacks happen when you least expect them. And we, the fans, got reminded that wrestling at its best isn't just about what happens in the ring, it's about the stories that make our hearts race and our minds spin with possibility. This is SLAMZONE, where we break down the moments that matter, where we analyze the moves that shock the world, and where we never ever forget that in wrestling, anything can happen. Stay safe out there, family. And remember, when you think you've seen it all, wrestling always has one more surprise waiting in the shadows.